Hello UPSC aspirants, welcome to Aura IAS Academy. So in this session, let us try to understand the syllabus of political science and international relations. That is simply a PSIR optional, a very popular optional, right? And the popular in the sense it is highly scoring in nature, right? So one of the scoring optional in UPSC, right? So myself and Amarnath, teaching political science with 15 years of experience. So let us first try to see the syllabus of political science. What are the topics that are present and to what extent this optional is easy. All right. So if you look at the syllabus, we have two papers. One is, as we know, paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 is all about the political theory, which is in section A of paper 1. And coming to section B of paper 1, we have Indian government and politics. All right. So first, let me try to explain the syllabus of paper 1. So how it is easy. All right. So if you take this syllabus, the syllabus of political science, it is very interconnected with our general studies. So there is much of overlapping between the syllabus of political science and general studies, particularly the polity, international relations, governance. That is, the entire paper 2 of general studies, it has commonality with political science. So most of the topics in GS paper 2, they overlap with political science. So every topic that we read in political science, they are helpful for GS2. That means there is no need to have a separate preparation for GS paper 2. Right? So with a single shot, you can cover both optional as well as GS. So that is the biggest advantage. Of political science. All right. So if you take this importance of political science, just numerically I'll explain to what extent this syllabus will be helpful. All right. Now, if you take GS paper 1, with the knowledge of political science, you can attempt at least 70 marks. So remember, I'm talking about the marks that we can attempt. With the knowledge of political science. Right? So in GS paper 1, we can attempt 70 marks. In GS paper 2, that is the polity, governance, and IR part. So you can attempt all the 250 marks. So with the knowledge of political science, you can attempt almost all 250 marks. All right. In GS paper 3, right, you can attempt around 50 marks. And GS paper 4, that is ethics paper, you can attempt around 100 to 120 marks with the knowledge of political science. So these are the marks that you can attempt in GS. All right. So now it is, if you add up, it is almost all 300, 400, 470 marks. You can attempt 470 marks with the knowledge of political science. Right. So 470 in GS, all right. The optional weightage, it is 500, and you cannot ignore essay paper. So with the knowledge of political science, all right, another more 100 marks you can attempt in what you call in essay paper, right? That means, so with the knowledge of political science, you can attempt almost all approximately 1100 marks UPSC. You can attempt 1100 marks in UPSC, right? So that is the importance of political science. So here, our target is to crack UPSC. We are not to become researcher, right? So our target is to get marks and crack clear exam and nothing more than that. All right. So now with the least possible efforts, because UPSC is an exam where you need to take a calculated risk. All right. You need to avoid unnecessary risk. All right. So the safest way to sail through the exam is political science. All right. So if you take this concept, all right, say you have the concepts like justice, equality, rights, democracy. So these are the topics, all right, which we even see in our polity paper. All right. So you will get a complete understanding. Of the concept. See, all right, without having the complete understanding of these topics, it is not possible to understand in GS. Though we read, but still, all right, if you take political science as an optional, you will get in-depth knowledge of all these topics. All right. So we'll talk about what is justice, what is equality, what is liberty, fraternity, sovereignty. So every topic that we read in what you call polity. Every topic that we see in polity, they are covered. All right. So we frequently use the word state. All right. In our civils preparation, we use the word state. What do you mean by state? All right. What is the definition of state? So most of the people or aspirants, they might take this vertical concept very lightly because they don't give much importance to this topic of concept of state. But remember, in 2021 or 22 prelims, still I remember, a question was precisely asked on the definition of state in prelims. The question was asked on concept of state. It is in prelims. So what is state? So what are different theories of state? So how this state is seen? Alright, that is simply, should we see this state as a dominant institution? That is an institution that dominating institution, or it has a secondary importance. Alright, so every approach or every theory has its own view of state. All right. So here I'm not going to discuss in depth of this syllabus. I'm not going to deal what you call the complete depth of this concept. I'll just give an overview. So what we will learn in PSIR. So what are the concepts that are present in PSIR? So that is what our motto, right? So what is state? What are different theories of state? So Marxist view of state, liberal view of state, moral view of state, Gandhian view of state. So likewise, so we'll talk about this concept. All right. Here there is a word called as power, concept of power, authority, hegemony, domination. So these are the regular words that we see in our daily life. So what they are. All right. So how to see this power? Who will exercise power? What is the source of exercising power and authority? All right. So how to check this power? All right. So we will learn about this concept of power. All right. Then ideologies. All right. So now and then we normally see people affiliating to some of the ideologies. All right. We call people as leftists, rightists. Yes or no? All right. We see the people. Some being called as leftists, some being called as rightists. So what is this leftist? What is this rightist? So what are these political ideologies? So how they have emerged? All right. So remember, if you're strong in this concept of ideology, if you ask me, any student who is strong in ideology, all right, then the entire political science is completed, because the entire syllabus of political science, it revolves around this ideology. Now, even practically, if you want to score marks, right, you should be thorough in ideology. The one who is stronger in ideologies, definitely they will have a very good edge, right? So they will have an edge in scoring marks. All right. So no need to buy hard. No need to mug up. All right. If you have a conceptual clarity on ideologies, so it is this ideology which is involved in each and every chapter of political science. Just now we have seen what we call theories of state. We have seen concepts like justice, equality, power. So you can explain these concepts. You can explain these concepts just by using this what you call ideology, just by using this what you call all right. So what is Marxist ideology, what is liberalist ideology? We'll come to know about this in the topic of ideology. All right. Then we have political thought, both Indian political thought as well as Western political thought. All right. So we have both Indian political thought and Western political thought. All right. So the prominent Indian thinkers, all right, who has contributed, who has what you call influenced the Indian who has influenced the what you call the Indian politics. All right. So obviously the names like Mahatma Gandhi, B.R. Ambedkar, right? So these are few names that immediately comes to our mind. Okay. So we'll come to know about this what you call thought. Then apart from thought, we will also try to understand the Western political thought. All right. The Western thinkers. All right. And in fact, if you take this political science, all right, the emergence of political science as a discipline, as a philosophy, right? It got started from all right. Basically, it is from Europe. All right. The Greek philosophers, the English philosophers, the French philosophers. So you might have heard the names like Socrates, Plato, all right, Aristotle. Then we have seen the names like Machiavelli, all right, Thomas Hobbes, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, all right. So these are different names that we have heard, or at least we might have seen, right, in previously in our college days. All right. So it is these thinkers who have influenced. the discipline of political science. All right. The philosophy of politics. All right. So we'll try to understand the contribution. We'll try to see the contributions of these things. All right. So this is the about entire section A of paper. So we'll come to know the basic concepts as well as what you call the Western thinkers as well as Indian. All right. So this is about section A, and coming to section B. And if you take this section B, so this is an area which is entirely overlapped with our GS. So if you take the first two topics, all right, the first two topics is all about Indian freedom struggle, all right, and Indian national movement, all right, the political perspectives of Indian national movement. So we'll try to explain what you call different events in our national movement, all right, by using different political theories or by using different ideologies, all right. So Marxist explanation of say non-cooperation movement, liberalist explanation of non-cooperation movement, all right. So that means we will try to analyze different events of Indian national movement, all right, by using the concepts, the ideologies of political science, all right. So here there is nothing new in our syllabus, all right. So whatever we have read in our GS, again we will try to understand in a different perspective. The only thing is it is in a different perspective, right? So that is why I say political science is an optional, right, which can be understood by any candidate, even anyone who is preparing for UPSC exam with a different background, right? So even a BTech graduate, right, the non-science, the non-social science students, right, they can easily comprehend this option, right? So it is not a big task, all right. So section B is about Indian Constitution. Not only understanding our the national movement, not only analyzing national movement, we'll try to understand Indian Constitution. That is, there comes the Indian polity into picture. All right. So the entire Constitution, every part of Constitution, say it is fundamental rights or DPSP or the different levels of government like union government or state government, right, local governments, grassroots level democracy. So everything is what you call mentioned in section B of the syllabus, right? So all these topics, right? The party system, the social movements, all right, the civil liberties, human rights movements in India, role of pressure groups, feminist movements in India. So all these issues we will discuss in section B of paper 1. All right. So this is about paper 1. And what is the importance of paper 1 in scoring mark? You take any optional. All right. If you want to score more, it is purely on paper 1. Paper 1 is always a scoring paper. Remember, I got 356 in option. All right. So if you take this scoring patterns, now if you want to score, focus more on paper, not only in paper 1. If you want to score marks in paper 2 without application of paper 1, without applying political theory in paper 2, it is not possible. It is not possible to understand. It is not possible to score marks. I'll take one example. The current issue that is going on, the ongoing issue, a very popular issue, all right, which is seen in every newspaper and in every channel, the US-Iran war. All right. So when we talk about this US-Iran war, now as a student of political science, right, how do you explain this war? How do you explain the hegemony of US? Because remember, this topic of hegemony of America is clearly mentioned in our syllabus, right? So how to analyze this US-Iran war? It is a topic that we see in paper 2. Now to get marks in this on this topic, what you need to do? You should apply the ideology. Without application of ideologies, right? Without application of paper 1 in paper 2, you cannot score marks. Right? There is much debate about human rights violation, all right, sufferings. Now, how do you explain this human rights violation? So, generalistic explanation is different from the explanation that is given by a political analyst, all right. So, here again, we require the knowledge of paper 1. So, overall, we can say that without the knowledge of paper 1, it is not possible to score marks in paper 2, all right. So, to score marks in paper 1 as well as to score marks in paper 2, we need to be thorough, right, in paper 1, right, specifically the section A of paper 1. So, any candidate who is strong in section A, definitely they are going to score more than 270 marks in political science. Blindly, if you want to score 270 plus marks, be strong in section A. So, it is this section which will help you all other 3 sections in both paper 1 as well as paper 2. All right. So this is about paper 1. Now coming to the syllabus of paper 2, just let us have a glance. Let us have a glance of what you call the syllabus of paper. All right. Section A of what you call paper 2. It has both comparative politics as well as international relations. We have 2 topics. One is comparative politics. The other one is international relation. All right. So we will talk about different approaches. Right. We'll talk about different approaches. All right. That are used in comparative studies. So we'll talk about why this comparison is required. What is the importance of comparative politics? In what way political science, right, will gain, or in what way the political science has gained from this comparative politics. We'll try to understand all these things in first 2 chapters. All right. Then, all right, we have the topics like globalization, right, understanding of international relations. So different approaches to understand international relations, and most importantly, you see interesting topics, very interesting topics, right, which are seen in our daily life. All right. That is, we talk about terrorism, balance of power, right, world economy. All right. So deterrence, nuclear nuclear pacts, denuclearization. So all these concepts, all right, we will see in section A. All right. So that is rise and fall of Soviet Russia, right, rise of superpower, right, the concepts like non-aligned movement. All right. So we all know these topics. So these are topics that we see, right, that we see in our daily news. That is, if you are good in current affairs, if you regularly follow current affairs, you will come across these words. All right. And we know that India is a leader, a pioneer in non-aligned movement. All right. So do non-aligned movement has any significance in the contemporary period? Right. So in the present day world order, right, is there any importance of NAM? Because most of us has forgot about NAM. All right. Most of us has and even some of the world leaders, they don't see any relevance of NAM. All right. So now the issue is, do NAM really has any importance? All right. Is there any effectiveness of NAM? All right. So we will try to understand. These issues in paper 2. All right. So what is the role of UN? Whether really UN is able to achieve its objectives. The first and foremost objective of UN is to maintain the peace, world peace. All right. That is what the intention behind in creating UN. Whether UN was really successful in achieving its objective. Today most of us criticize UN. We say that UN has failed. No, that is what we'll analyze. Whether really UN has failed, whether global institutions have achieved what they want. So we have different types of institutions, right? World economic institutions, global economic institutions like IMF, World Bank. All right. So we'll talk about these institutions in section A. So section A is about comparative politics, international relations, important events in international relations. That is the impact of World War I, the impact of World War II, right? The how the emergence of globalization, impact of globalization, right? The aftermaths of subprime crisis, right? So we'll try to understand the impact of global economic institutions, right? The role of IMF, World Bank, right? And today, in the present international system, we see emergence of new institutions, new economic institutions. So how they have posed a threat, or how they are acting as a rival to what we call global institutions or already established institutions. All right. So all this we can see in section A of paper. Now section B of paper 2, it is totally about India and world. That is India's bilateral relations, India's foreign policy. All right. So India's foreign policy and bilateral relations, different milestones in India's foreign policy. All right. So what is the significance of a foreign policy? Why a nation requires a foreign policy? Next, what are different milestones, different initiatives? We talk about look east policy, look west policy. All right. Neighborhood first policy. So there are many things. We'll talk about all these things in section B. All right. So section B is about Indian foreign policy and what we call India's bilateral relations. Along with this, India's engagement with a different bloc, different regional blocks. All right. Today we talk about IPSA, Shanghai Cooperation Council. All right. Then what about SARC? Whether SARC is there? Do SARC has any importance? All right. So we'll try to analyze these issues in section B. So section B is totally about what you call India's engagement. So recently we have seen India hosting the G20 summit, right? Though not immediate recently, right? In the recent past, India has hosted G20 summit. Now, what are the gains? So, why India should host these kind of international summits? So, what is the role of India in global politics? All right. So, today everyone sees an important role. Today everyone sees an important role for what you call India. May it be in Russia-Ukraine war, or you take a US-Iran war, right? So India has assumed its own significance, a special importance, right? So this is what we'll discuss in section B. So that means if you take this entire political science syllabus, right? So I can say that there is no word which is not familiar to us. So every word in syllabus is familiar to us, and we can easily cope. All right. So coming to our new batch. So we are going to launch our new batch on coming Thursday. All right. Where to complete the entire syllabus. All right. It will take around 3 to 4 months. You will be given notes, question answers on each and every topic. So chapter wise question answers. All right. And as usually we will be having a weekly test and a daily practice. All right. So in the next session, we will talk about the gray areas, the difficult areas of political science, the strategies that we should use or that we should adopt in improving marks in political science. So in today's session, we have talked about the syllabus, a macro level analysis of syllabus, not micro level. So micro level analysis, it will be done, right, once we start our regular class. All right. So this is a macro level analysis. All right. In the next session, I'll talk about the exam strategy, the strategy that we should use for improving marks, and the difficult areas in political science, because every subject has both positive areas and difficult areas. Even we should have an idea about these difficult areas. So we'll try to understand this difficult area, right, in the next session. So do remember, our next batch is going to start on the next Thursday. So do attend. And for any doubts, for any clarifications, do call on to our number or visit the website auraias.com.